Welcome back everybody, I hope you're having a beautiful day. We're reading some more petty revenge stories today and it's going to be so fun. And yeah, having a beautiful day today and I hope you guys are too. Thank you for joining me once again on another adventure and let's get into it. Enjoy guys. The time I was petty during my boss's divorce. So, story time. Around the end of 2017, my boss's wife went through a midlife crisis and decided to have an affair and move out of their house. Divorce proceedings initiated shortly after. In the following March, there was an incident between the two of them that necessitated court intervention and for them to meet some requirements as a result. One of those requirements was her being required to walk around the house and make a list of the items that were hers. Cue the pettiness on her part. The boss's lawyer stated that in my 20 years of law practice, I've never seen a list this petty. Half of the dish towels, half of the paper plate holders, half of the pots, the curtains in the lounge, etc, etc. You get the idea. She made sure that she got half of everything. However, my boss did not allow her to come into the house herself to pack, as she'd spent the previous 5 months stealing out of the house at every opportunity, and he didn't trust her to pack only her belongings, so he made me do it. It's a small company, nothing else really for me to be doing, so I dutifully started collating her belongings. This is where the pettiness comes in. She requested one saucepan. I shook both and one had a loose handle. She got that one. She was asking for the curtains in the lounge. She didn't ask for the curtain hooks, so I took all of those out. Half of the dish towels. She got all the grotty mismatched ones, not the nice red set. Half of the containers in the storage room. Never specified she wanted the contents, so she got empty containers. I did this for the entire list, making sure that I was as petty as possible when packing up the house. The result, part 1. Once she took all of her stuff, she sent a very long letter via her lawyer, stating that what she received was not what she listed in her belongings. We painstakingly went through the entire list, explaining that she received exactly what was written on her list, and we couldn't possibly be at fault since she wasn't specific enough. Part 2. Their divorce was finalized at the end of 2019. Occasionally we'll still get the stray email saying we need to return items to her that weren't provided back in 2018. It makes my petty heart burn bright, knowing that she tried to be a biatch about taking things, and I turned it back on her and I ruined it by being extra petty. Edit, I did not behave like this in a vacuum. I did not screw over a kindly woman that I didn't know. No, I'm not dating or married to my boss. I can't believe I have to say this, but not every woman in a divorce is the good party, and women can be evil, narcissistic people just like men. Divorce brings out the worst in people. I'm my boss's personal assistant, and it's my job to read his emails. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Edit number 2. I won't be responding to any further comments, mostly for my own sanity. I've answered most of the questions in other comments, and I want to go outside and touch grass for a bit. Wow, that's so funny. Like, yeah, you can have all of this stuff, but you know, I'm gonna make sure that you don't really get what you're asking for. Yeah, like this comment says, I expected you to cut things literally in half, but that would have hurt your boss as well. So yeah, good job. The next one is called Don't Let My Fiance Sleep, Then You Don't Get to Sleep Either. So my fiance 25 male and his mum, who we'll call Jolene 61 female, are on different work schedules. My fiance works 10-hour shifts 5 days a week from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m, sometimes even later, and Jolene works part-time 2 days a week from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. because she recently had a knee replacement. So my fiance always seems to get woken up by her at 7 a.m. in the morning because she wants to see him to let him know what's happening that day, and is just loud in general in the morning, and completely disregards the fact that he probably didn't get home until 2 in the morning. So in return, whenever my fiance comes home at 2 in the morning, he goes into her room to wake her up and tell her about his day and work, and bother her and just be a nuisance to her and interrupt her sleep like she does to him. She still hasn't caught on yet to what we're doing, so there might be a part 2 of the result of us stepping it up a notch and what happens. Yeah, well, I hope there is a part 2. Like the bloody audacity though. Like, oh, I want to tell you what's happening today, even though you only just got to sleep. Some people have no consideration for other people, and they're literally thinking, oh, this suits me, so I'm gonna do it. Not even thinking about the other person. Yeah, not only is this one petty, but it's definitely fair enough. It'd be fun to read a part 2. The next one is called Big Brother Learned to Not Mess With Me, for a little while at least. This is my first post, be kind. I grew up on a farm with my brother and sister when I was about 5 years old. My brother was 12. I had a doll named Mimi, and she was everything to me. My brother decided it would be hilarious to bury her somewhere on the farm while following me around, looking at his watch and saying things like, you better hurry, she doesn't have much air left, she's been buried for 4 minutes, she's gonna die. I finally found her in a hole under a pile of rocks. I was crying, he was laughing, so I started planning. He went to visit my aunt and uncle with my dad for the rest of the afternoon. I went outside. He'd gotten an ATV four-wheeler that was his pride and joy. I took a 5-gallon bucket and load by load I took buckets of dirt over and I buried it. I didn't say a word to anybody. We went to bed that night, got up in the morning, and we were going to town. That's when he saw it. The mound of dirt next to the back porch where his four-wheeler used to be. He sucked in a breath to start yelling at me. My dad, who knew what he'd done to me, whirled around in the driver's seat and pointed at him saying, "Don't you dare say one word. I've been a mama bear since I was a toddler, lol. Good on you for doing something. Stuff like this is so awful." But the title says my big brother learned not to mess with me for a little while at least. So them not messing with you didn't last a long time. Yeah, that's not good. Hopefully this is something that you can laugh about now that you're older. But yeah, God, some people can be so awful, especially when they're younger, and then look back when they get older and be like, oh my God, that probably wasn't a good way to be. But you live and learn. That's the whole point. The next one is called I Blew Up My Brother's Phone. In high school around 2006, my brother thought it'd be funny to deflate the tires on my car before I took this girl out on a date and to smear our dog's poop on the passenger side window. Oh my God. So for revenge, I made a Craigslist ad in Detroit about a 65-inch flat screen TV, brand new for $100. I used his phone number and I said preferred to be called between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. He got about 100 calls and texts every hour, all night long, and his voicemail was full of angry Detroit citizens demanding the TV. It got so bad after 2 days that he had to change his phone number. I never told him it was me, lol. Okay, that one was incredible. That's so evil, but so smart. Absolutely diabolical. Yeah, that's so smart too, because they're not going to know that you did this, and by the sounds of this, they didn't. And also, it does seem about fair compared to what they did. Hell yeah, OP. The next one is called Steal My Parking Spot. Okay, I forgot how much I hate being back in the Philly main line, but yeah, I drove to an REI to get some final gifts for people. The parking lot is a riot. I drive around in circles for 5 minutes until I see a couple walking out. I follow them, put on the blinkers and wait for them to pull out. As they're finishing pulling out, a woman driving a Range Rover flies into the spot from the other direction. She saw me waiting. When she slowed down at the end of the aisle, I'm facing that end, she was surveying the situation and quickly turned in to snag it. She sped in there so fast that she wasn't able to swing wide and make into the spot on the first try. She stops to put it in reverse and I toot the horn. She ignores me. I lay on the horn. She looks at me with a smirk and then gives the what? Angry scowl shrug like the meme. Okay, fine. Now she's terrible at driving and fails to give herself room to exit on this record attempt. And I see this, accelerate till I'm behind her. She's now blocked and honks. I wait a while for the next person to get to their car. She's laying on the horn. I can make eye contact with her in the rear view. I smirk. After they pull out and I park, she pulls out her last time, corrects it, and finally parks and gets out while I'm walking past. She yells something at me. I look at her, smirk, and then give the what? Angry face shrug. I wished her happy holidays and saluted. Yeah, wow, that's so bad. Christmas time brings out the worst in people when they're driving. Anytime you go anywhere around Christmas time, people's driving seems to be so much worse. But yeah, good on you, OP. I don't know how you have the patience for stuff like this. I don't have the energy to bother with stuff like this, but I'm glad there's people like you who do. The next one is called Don't Mess with the quote-unquote poor kids. Not my story, but my brother's. Still one of the reasons I look up to him to this day. Picture it, the early 80s in a less than small rural farming community, like a one-stoplight town situation. The better well-off ran everything from the businesses to the schools. We were not exactly rich and we were treated as such. I had 5 siblings and the teachers in the schools treated us like crap. Our parents were neither rich nor poor. My brother was the oldest and he had a particular high school teacher that lived to give my brother crap, to the point that every day in school my brother was instructed to take the teacher's cup and go fetch him some cold water. The teacher always made a big show about making my brother do it. Little did he know that my brother was more than happy to get him a fresh cold water every day from the bathroom toilet. That a-hole drank toilet water all the way through my brother's junior and senior year. I still smile when I think about it. Yeah, like these 2 comments say, disgusting and absolutely fitting. Those that abuse their power deserve what's served to them. And the comment under it, the same can be applied to restaurant servers. It's dumb as hell to mess with anybody who's bringing you food and drink. Yeah, 100%. Like, oh, a person that I'm rude to and I belittle, go get me a drink. Like, surely they could have seen this coming. But yeah, that's beautiful in a diabolical sort of way. And I feel like you'll never forget about this. The next one is called Don't Like My Rapping. Fine then, nobody gets bows this year. Some holiday petty revenge for you all on this Christmas Eve. My 30 female, husband 35, had 4 sisters, 3 older and 1 younger, though I don't know exact age teenagers. We don't have children, but we do have nearly 10 nieces and nephews, all ranging in ages from infant to high schooler. Since we don't have kids, we do try and spoil our nibblings when we can for birthdays and Christmas, while keeping things equal so nobody feels left out. For instance, this year we spent a little over $50 a kid, and they all got 2 presents, except the high schooler who was spoiled a little bit more since she's older. I wrap all of my presents in candy cane wrapping paper. That's so everybody knows who it's coming from at a glance. But the other things I use for wrapping, like bows and labels, are arbitrary. The kids are gonna rip presents open and barely look at the bows and labels, so why should I care which I use, so long as the wrapping looks presentable? I also tend to buy in bulk when I buy wrapping supplies so that I don't have to buy more bows and paper every single year. Yes, this matters. Last year I was low on bows, so I bought a couple of bags from Costco when I got my paper. The Costco bows were apparently better and prettier than the ones I had already, which were from Dollar Tree. The only reason I know this is because last year I overheard 2 of my sister-in-laws complaining that I used the good bows on the other sister's kids and not theirs, as if my bow and label choices showed favoritism. They even gave me the cold shoulder that night after presents were opened. I was annoyed at this because of how much we spoil our nibblings. I would understand if we spent more on one kid than another, or if one kid got more presents than another, but that's not what happened. We made sure everybody was equal, and we even got them presents too, $50 gift cards, even though they didn't get us anything. I don't expect presents from them or anything, but it just seemed incredibly ungrateful to me, and a stupid thing to be upset about. Even my husband agreed that they were being ridiculous, so this year I'm being petty. I wrapped all the presents, I went out of my way to use the same size labels for all the kids, and nobody got bows. My husband thinks it's hilarious. I warned my mother-in-law of my pettiness, and she promised to let me know if she heard anybody complain. She also thinks it's hilarious. I'm excited to see how things unfold, or shall I say unwrap, tomorrow evening. Happy holidays, everybody. May all your days be chill and your revenge be petty. Update: presents have not been unwrapped yet, but the aftermath is already there. I didn't expect to have an update at all, so here we go. So apparently one of my younger nephews, who might have some form of autism, was sad that he didn't get any bows. He knew they were my presents from the candy cane wrapper, but asked me where my bows were. Apparently I usually give him 2 bows. I've literally never noticed that I do this. Like I said, this stuff is arbitrary to me, and he asked why he didn't get any bows this year. I played it off and I told him that I forgot to buy bows until late this year, and I assured him that next year he'll get 5 bows to make up for it. He was happy with this, but I noticed that my sister-in-laws were exchanging looks. My mother-in-law asked what she should tell them if they say something, and I told her to explain that I didn't want anybody feeling like I was favoring anybody. Unsure if any other nieces and nephews will say anything, as not all of them have arrived, so we'll see. Why are they getting upset over this? Like, imagine getting upset over bows on a present. Yeah, like the top comment says, it's amazing how much nonsense people can read into a non-existent situation. Yeah, definitely. And OP responded to that comment. Yeah, right, like they clearly just wanted something to be mad about, I think. Yeah, definitely OP, that's what it feels like. Like they just want to find a reason to be upset, because yeah, how somebody wraps their present isn't really an issue. The next one is called I returned my neighbor's new laptop to the shipping office. My neighbor and I aren't friends, but we do wave when passing in vehicles or walking. About a year ago, my wife had ordered something for one of our kids, and it was delivered to the wrong house. Our house numbers and mailboxes are very similar and easy to confuse. Pictures 668 and 688. After a couple of days, I called and they sent me the photo taken of the box on my neighbor's porch. So I walked over to retrieve it, and I was told I brought it back to the shipping hub. I was heading in that direction anyway. When I asked why he didn't either text me or just walk next door, he didn't even have an answer. Okay, very frustrating. It took 5 more days for our item to arrive. Well, on Friday afternoon, I'm working from home, and I see a box is delivered to my porch. I go out to get it, and I see it's his package. On the small return portion of the ship label, it says Lenovo 1-day rush, and the shipping sticker says like $31. My neighbor assumably ordered a laptop by the weight of it, and rushed it over. I picked it up, and I went straight to the shipping center after all my errands were done, so I was walking in at 4:50. I didn't want to risk that they would try to re-deliver it before the end of the day. Yesterday, he comes over with the photo of the box on my front deck to ask if I have his box and that it's important, and I respond, I brought it back to be re-delivered. He looks almost enraged and says, why? I said, that's the exact same question that I asked you when you did it. I just thought this was what you wanted going forward. Lol. He was walking down my driveway shaking his head extra dramatically. But what's good for one should be good for all, no? Yeah, like the top comment says, I like the walking in at 4:50 part. Yeah, good job OP, that was so good. And I feel like that's enough for today. Such a fun episode, and I hope you enjoyed it, guys. But it's definitely time for something wholesome. I set my great uncle up with the cement Wikipedia on my iPad, and it's already been 30 minutes. Well, wow, that's so cute. They're so interested and busy reading about cement. That's so funny. And even their expression on their face, they're like, wow, that's really interesting. I didn't know that about cement. Me, where did my pizza go? I just took out the baking sheet. My completely unsuspicious rectangular cat. What are you talking about? Are you accusing me of eating your pizza? Silly human. I would never. I will for you, Taco Bell. Try. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if I've read this one before. I feel like I have. But yeah, either way, it's a good message. I bet it's so easy to be a cat and not have to worry about work or school. Well, think again. Kitties are so little that they can't even get their own ice cream out of the freezer because their paws are too small. What? No, that can't be true. See for yourself. Wow, that's bloody heartbreaking. This is not a wholesome meme. That could be the saddest thing I've ever read. Poor little kitties can't even get their own ice cream. On that absolutely devastating note, that's enough for today. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did, you know what to do. Make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Susan. Feel-good stories are always welcome and very enjoyable. Thank you so much. No, Susan, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. And yeah, we've been reading a lot more sort of happy stuff lately. I don't know if it's just a happy accident, but it's really fun. And yeah, I've been enjoying it too. Okay, I'm out of here. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!